So the second tweak I've made in my women's strength and conditioning class, and this is actually not so much a tweak, just is probably more important for your female clients, is that I understand that training is not performance, and even our elite athletes do not perform at every single session. Okay? So women are at much higher risk of a variety of hormonal conditions and inflammatory conditions, and long high-intensity exercise can compound the effects of these conditions. So I wouldn't say they cause them, but with things like PCOS or endometriosis, exercise is a stressor and can add inflammation, and it needs to be wielded in a careful way with people with these conditions. Okay, so in my brief stint at NSWIS, the New South Wales Institute of Sport, not one athlete trained at 100% every single session because it negatively affects their performance. It's actually not good for them. Furthermore, they never come off a comp. So if they're competing, we can say that's performance. They never come off that comp and then repeat it again in the gym at 100% for the hell of it, because that erodes their strength, endurance, their performance, right? If they do have back-to-back comps, an athlete will spend every minute in between them recovering. So prioritizing sleep, optimizing nutrition, hydration, massage, ice baths, physio, you name it, they'll do it. So if you're smashing your clients every single session, particularly if you're seeing them more than once a week, it's likely you're inhibiting their potential rather than, whether they're male or female, by the way, rather than getting results and achieving their potential, right? And it's possibly you'll cause or contribute to greater harm if your client is female in this scenario. So athletes periodize their training for a reason, and this is the men and the women, because men can overtrain. And so do I. In the gym, in the absence of a menstrual cycle, this is how I do it. So week 1, we get a new program, and we call it half-ass week. All right, we back off the weights, we get used to the movements. Week 2, we're getting used to the program. We call it 3/4 ass week. Now we train twice a week, with a day's rest in between, and then 3 days rest in between second session and the first session. Week 3, we got the hang of it, so we just stop short of pushing to our best. And week 4, if she's slept well, if she's hit her nutrition and hydration targets and isn't stressed, then she can go for it. Okay? Now you shouldn't be making her results about you, but even if you did, you'd be better off periodizing her training and going half-assed at least once a month. Okay? Now, if she has a cycle, I've talked about periodizing before. You can go back and read that blog. I give my clients the choice of either periodizing to their cycle to match her phase, or just doing what she feels like on the day, or just going along with these. Because not every woman has a 4-week cycle. It doesn't always fit neatly in. But it is useful. I do educate either way because it's useful for her. She might be in week 4 and she's slept well, but she's not feeling great because she's right before her period and she doesn't feel like going full ass. That's fine. So this might mean, our mums with babies too will go months without ever doing the go for it week. All right. They'll just stop short because all personal trainers should understand that strength gains, fitness gains, cardiovascular gains, they happen in between the sessions as long as adequate recovery has occurred and that you've timed your next session at that peak overcompensation point. So strength and fitness gains happen in between your sessions, not in the sessions, particularly when your client is asleep. And there are more aspects of a woman's lifestyle, particularly stress, that erode her potential for recovery, that you need to be mindful of when you're offering your sessions. So understand, especially when you're reading papers too, by the way, it's great that you're giving it a go, but performance is not the same as training. You train to perform, okay? You don't perform in the gym unless you're in a performance week where you're like testing single RM or whatever, okay? So performance is not training. You train for performance, and those events don't happen every week. They happen, once every 4 years in the case of the Olympics, once every year in the case of the world titles. So relax a little bit about intensity, especially with your female clients, because I feel like the effects of high intensity performance-based training, when it's every single session, can be detrimental to a female's hormonal health. Feedback is welcome. Feel free to DM me with your questions and your opinions. And I'll see you next week.